He had done everything right. Tickets in hand, documents ready. Just another day of travel. But in a split second, his world turned upside down. A gate agent, fueled by arrogance and prejudice, didn't just question his right to fly. She destroyed the very document that proved his identity. The rip of paper was more than an insult. It was an attack on his dignity, his freedom, his existence. What she didn't know was that the man she tried to humiliate wasn't just another passenger. He carried a power that could end her career in an instant. For Marcus Daniels, airports were nothing new. As a Federal Aviation Administration inspector, he had spent years traveling between states, auditing airlines, and ensuring passenger safety. He wasn't just a frequent flyer. He was the reason countless flights ran smoothly, the silent guardian of air travel. Off-duty, though, Marcus was just a man eager to get home. He had visited family in another state, shared stories, and laughed until late into the night. Now, standing in line at the gate, he was ready for the routine return trip. The terminal bustled with ordinary life. Parents calming restless children, business travelers glued to laptops, elderly couples holding hands as they waited for boarding. Marcus adjusted his jacket, feeling the comforting weight of his passport in his pocket. Years of flying had made him meticulous, always double-checking documents, always prepared. But in the corner of his eye, he noticed something unusual. The gate agent scanning tickets didn't wear the neutral, polite smile of her colleagues. Instead, her face twisted with disdain as her gaze lingered on passengers who didn't look like her. She rushed through some check-ins, yet stopped others with unnecessary questions. And when Marcus stepped forward, he saw her eyes narrow, as if his very presence was an offense. He thought it would be a brief annoyance. He didn't know it was about to explode into something unforgettable. Marcus handed over his boarding pass and passport with the same calm efficiency he always carried. But the agent didn't scan it right away. Instead, she held the passport between her fingers, tilting her head, smirking slightly as if daring him to challenge her. "Is this yours?" she asked, her voice dripping with mock suspicion. Marcus nodded, keeping his composure. "Yes, ma'am. You'll see it's valid." She flipped it open, scrutinizing every page longer than necessary. Passengers behind him shuffled, murmuring, some glancing up at the delay. Marcus felt the heat of their stares. He had been here before, singled out, treated as though he didn't belong. Then, in a move so shocking that time seemed to slow, the agent tightened her grip on the passport's edge and tore it down the middle. The sound of ripping paper sliced through the air. Gasps erupted. A woman behind Marcus covered her mouth. A man muttered, "Did she just?" Marcus froze. His passport, an official document of the United States, his proof of identity, his key to every inspection he conducted, lay mutilated in her hand. The agent leaned forward, her voice low but sharp. "Guess you're not flying today." Anger surged in Marcus, but years of professionalism kept him still. He knew better than to shout, better than to let rage dictate his next move. Instead, he looked around. Phones were already raised. Passengers were recording. The agent hadn't just attacked him. She had just staged her own downfall in front of an audience. A security guard approached, uncertain. "Is there a problem here?" The agent scoffed, pointing at Marcus. "Fake documents. He's trying to board with fraudulent ID." Marcus inhaled slowly. He could feel the injustice pressing down on him, the weight of history repeating itself in yet another humiliating public moment. But this time was different. This time, she had no idea who she was dealing with. Marcus reached into his bag, pulling out a slim leather wallet. Inside was not just his personal ID, but his official FAA credentials, embossed, sealed, and undeniable. He held it up for the guard, his voice steady but resonant. "My name is Marcus Daniels. I am a Federal Aviation Administration inspector. I have the authority to ground aircraft, audit airlines, and report misconduct at every level of airport operations, including this one." The guard's eyes widened as he read the card, then flicked nervously toward the agent. Murmurs rippled through the crowd. Some passengers whispered in disbelief. Others shook their heads at the audacity of what they had just witnessed. The agent's smirk collapsed into silence. Her face drained of color. She stammered, reaching for words that wouldn't come. Marcus didn't need to shout. The power of truth spoke louder than anger. "You just destroyed a federal document," he said, his tone sharp as steel. "And you did it in front of dozens of witnesses." The guard radioed for supervisor. Within moments, airline management rushed over, eyes scanning the scene, passengers waving their phones. The evidence was undeniable. The once confident agent now stood cornered, her arrogance stripped away, her career hanging by a thread. For Marcus, this wasn't just personal. It was a moment that revealed the ugliness too many had faced quietly, and now there was no hiding it. The aftermath was swift. Supervisors escorted the gate agent away, her protests drowned out by the chorus of passengers demanding accountability. Management apologized profusely to Marcus, promising immediate replacement of his passport and a full investigation. But Marcus didn't smile. He didn't feel victorious. He felt tired. As he finally boarded, the weight of what happened pressed on him. Yes, he had exposed her prejudice. Yes, he had held power she didn't expect. But what about the countless others who didn't have a badge, a title, or federal authority to protect them? How many times had this same agent, or others like her, humiliated travelers who simply had no defense? In his seat, Marcus stared out the window at the runway. The plane engines roared to life, but his thoughts remained on the larger truth. This wasn't just one incident. It was a reflection of a system where power and bias collide, where dignity is ripped apart like paper in careless hands. When the story later hit the news, fueled by passenger videos, it sparked outrage online. Viewers weren't just angry. They were asking the same question Marcus did. How many more? And maybe that's the question we should all ask ourselves. How many more moments of injustice must happen before accountability becomes the rule, not the exception? Because Marcus Daniels was able to stand up for himself that day. But the real test isn't in what he endured. It's in what we choose to change after hearing his story. So, if you believe stories like this deserve to be told, don't let them fade into silence. Watch, share, and be part of this conversation. And if you want more stories that uncover the truths too often hidden, make sure to like this video, comment with your thoughts, and subscribe. Together, maybe we can make sure that one day, no one has to go through what Marcus did.